Hi, everybody. Kari Cardinale with MEA. Drew Horning is here with me with Hoffman.
Great to be here. Thanks, Kari.
Hi, everybody. You are able to see the two of us together like in big screen, or you can click on the gallery view if you want to see the amazing faces that are showing up here today. Welcome. We are so excited to launch this new partnership, these community conversations with just the alumni community of MEA and Hoffman Institute Foundation. Drew, this is the first time we get to work together. I'm really fired up. I'm super excited. We're going to have a great time. So in the next 90 minutes, you're going to have a great, very MEA, very Hoffman-esque experience. So you get to experience a fireside chat in a couple of minutes with Chip Conley and Lynne Twist. How amazing is that to have the two of them in the house? And then after that, Drew and I will lead you in a very deep, lovely, authentic, juicy, yummy conversation together. So one of the things we love to do, Drew, in our world, those who are in the MEA world know, what's the first thing we always do when we get together online? We like to build a geographical quilt because the community is global from all over the world. So what we love to do is have you put where you are in the world. And Drew and I had decided maybe it'd be fun to also hear from all of you. What's your favorite thing about being part of the MEA community or the Hoffman community or both of the communities? So pop that in the chat. Yours are already going. Where are you in the world? And what's your favorite thing about being part of the Hoffman or MEA community? Let's take a look, Drew. Let's see what we got.
Fantastic.
The amazing people. Yes. Learning. Yes, meeting new people, authentic connections, the diversity of thoughts, the community of learners, a tribe of soulful wisdom. Look at this chat blowing up. Yes, I can't even keep up. You guys are killing it. New perspectives, collaboration, love. Wow. Global conversations. Are you guys catching all of the countries that are here today? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, Drew, I'll let you kick it off first and share a little bit about our beloved Lynne Twist, and then I'll introduce Chip, and we're going to bring them up on the stage.
Yes, thanks, Kari. So Lynne Twist, we had the chance to meet previously, and we had a great conversation on the Hoffman podcast. So I'm so honored to be in connection with she and Chip. Lynne is, as many of you know, she's the founder of the Soul of Money Institute and the co-founder of the Pachamama Alliance. And she's been recognized as a global visionary committed to alleviating poverty, ending world hunger, supporting social justice, and environmental sustainability. Lynne's work has brought her into the inner circles of the likes of Oprah Winfrey, Buckminster Fuller, Mother Teresa, and so many others. Her organizations have raised hundreds of millions of dollars for social and environmental causes. Amazing. And she is a well of wisdom and powerhouse of purposeful action. Lynne, we are so excited to have you today and to be in community with you during this conversation. Kari.
So great to have you here. And let me formally introduce my very dear friend, Chip Conley, hospitality entrepreneur, New York Times bestselling author, and the founder of MEA, the Modern Elder Academy, where we're building a new roadmap for midlife at our beautiful oceanfront campus in Baja Sur and soon to be in Santa Fe. Chip has 5 books, soon to be 6, which has made him a leading authority in the intersection of psychology and business, and was awarded the most innovative CEO by San Francisco Business Times. He is beloved in so many communities and is creating this movement to rethink midlife and to bring people together in a way that no one else really has. And we're so happy that you are here, Chip. So we're going to get off the stage and let the two of you have fun together. And everybody, you will see Drew and I in a little bit after they've had their fireside chat.
What an honor. Thank you, Kari. Thank you, Drew. And Lynn, thank you. It's just lovely to be here on stage with you. And Lynn and another one of our MEA faculty members, Blake McCoskey, who I was on the call with yesterday, who started Tom's Shoes, both said after they had their MEA experience, you guys got to be collaborating with Hoffman. You got to do something with them because there's so many comparabilities, so many synergies. There's a Venn diagram of these two programs and the two communities. And now I had heard that as well because we had some MEA staff who'd experienced Hoffman, and we have dozens and dozens and dozens of MEA alums who have come to our Baja campus or our online programs and have talked about Hoffman. So I am just honored that our MEA, which is dedicated, as Kari said, to helping to elevate wisdom in midlife and beyond, and to help people to reimagine and repurpose themselves, is in partnership with these community conversations with Hoffman. So thank you for being a seed of this idea, Lynn.
My pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about your history with Hoffman, and then as you came to MEA and taught your Soul of Money workshop a couple of years ago at MEA's campus in Baja, what made you think that these two programs have some comparability or synergy?
Well, I took Hoffman, I'm trying to remember now, I think it was the year 2000, it's a long time ago. But I love the Hoffman process. I love everything about it. It's so, so powerful. And those of us who've taken it know that there's many ways to talk about it. But one way to talk about it is that you actually complete your relationship with your parents, which we don't really know we're managed, manipulated, kind of living through so much of the time. I remember when I took it, I thought, oh my God, every political figure in the world should take this course because I think when I took it, I can't remember who was president, but probably George Bush was still trying to please his father or somebody like that, and running an entire nation, the most powerful nation in the world, in a way that was all about kind of, in some cases, trying to make it with his own dad, and we're all in that kind of relationship with our parents. And the Hoffman process freed me, and I think, just incredible numbers of people now, from being from their childhood and from trying to make it with their parents or whoever raised them so they could actually be an adult. And that is really perfect for then going to MEA, which is about being an adult. But it's really great to complete your relationship with your parents and realize that you are an adult, no matter what age you are, before you actually engage with the Modern Elder Academy and start looking at what it means to be wise in midlife and beyond. So to me, the two are so compatible and almost like a collaboration that just really wants to happen. I'm so thrilled that I was one of the little seed planters to make this happen. So that's what
and you are our inaugural conversation. So, how are you involved with Hoffman at this point in terms of your role there?
Well, I'm a very close friend of Raz and Eliza. I've known them for many, many, many years, even before they started working at Hoffman and making it so brilliant and expanding it so dramatically. It is really in that friendship that I came to know Hoffman myself, but also they put me on the advisory board, and I recommended. I don't know how many people I've sent there, but I feel very clear as a coach, as a counselor, as a consultant myself, as a wisdom keeper. I can spot people for whom Hoffman is the perfect thing. Now, that's kind of everybody, but there's really people who I can see are kind of caught in a web that the Hoffman would help them untangle or dislodge. And so I'm a huge advocate. I'm also an advisory board member and a close friend.
Beautiful. Well, let's talk about purpose a little bit, because most people know of you and your best-selling book, The Soul of Money, but not as many people know that you had a book come out recently called Living a Committed Life, Finding Freedom and Fulfillment in a Purpose Larger Than Yourself. And you are, in fact, an MEA faculty member. You have a Soul of Money workshop, which we'll talk about later in the fall. But you're also on our MEA Online faculty for our Living and Working on Purpose course, which starts a week from today. Tell us a little bit about your book. And there was a long delay, not delay is not the right way to put it, a long pause between The Soul of Money and this book you've been cooking up for all these years. Lynne, tell us a little bit about what was it that led you to wanting to write the book, The Living a Committed Life?
Well, first of all, I'll explain the long pause because I'm my facility is with speaking, this kind of thing, talking to it's like a joy. Writing just doesn't come naturally to me. I struggle. Somehow the written word is like, I love it. But when I'm writing, I feel very solitary, and that's not my way. I'm a kind of social character. I love relationship. I love loving people and places and things. And so writing is just not my thing. So writing another book, it just sounded like, oh my God, and I had many people say, could you write another book? And publishers saying you could write another book, and editors saying you could write another book, but I just couldn't get myself to do it. And then with a wonderful nudge, I'd call it a giant nudge, by my friend Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul guy, he created an environment. He had a bunch of people come to his house. He interviewed me like you're interviewing me, and I told story after story after story after story after story. I mean, 50 to 100 stories in 3 days with 30 people listening. And Jack, recorded the whole thing. He interviewed me, got it out of me, pulled it out of me like like a vacuum cleaner. And he's a story guy. That's what Chicken Soup for the Soul is. And he said, these stories have got to be published. And so he had it transcribed and sent it to me. And then it languished a little bit more, I'm embarrassed to say, because I didn't, it was like too much. I'm a proactivist. I call myself a proactivist rather than an activist, because I'm an activist for, not against. That's what I stand for. I know things are in between me and what my vision is for the world. But I don't attack them. I'm about dismantling them, having them die their natural death, these systems and structures that have trapped us in ways of being that demean our humanity. So I call myself a proactivist, which means I'm kind of on the playing field all the time. I'm in the Amazon rainforest with indigenous people, or I'm in Africa with the Nobel women, or I'm leading something somewhere. And so sitting and writing just didn't appeal to me. Until my friend Mary Chase, who's a wonderful friend of mine and collaborative writer, said, I'll help you put all this together in a book. You travel all over the world, you do all your stuff. You just meet with me, let's say 3-4 days a week for as long as it takes. And we'll take all this. It'll be your book, not mine, but I'll make it into a book. And she did. And COVID was really helpful, actually, because I had to stay put for a while. And that's really what made this book happen. And that's why it took so long. So that's my kind of like story. But I want to just say that because Jack Canfield really did make me do it. And I'm grateful to him. And it's coming out at the perfect time. So given its message, given what I am given to speak about, I think everybody needs to relook at who they are, what they're committed to as we come through, not out of completely the COVID times. We may have another pandemic, but we're coming through something. And people are questioning, what's my life about? So this is a book that will help them take a good, hard look at that.
Give us a paragraph about what the book's about. I mean, what does it mean to live a committed life?
Well, my life has been what I call a committed life. I've taken on commitments larger than my own life starring me, I could say. Commitments that I can't even complete in my own lifetime. Big commitments like ending world hunger, bringing forth an environmentally sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, socially just human presence on this planet, which is the commitment of the Pachamama Alliance. Giving and receiving love in every encounter. That I got that from being with Mother Teresa. These are commitments you can't check off like a goal. You can't say you did them. You can't take any credit for them. It's a commitment larger than your own life, as I say, starring you, which shapes your life into a life worth living. And a commitment larger than your own life, and one that takes, enormous courage and power to make, reaches back into your life and shapes you into who you need to be to fulfill it. We often think you need to be all turned out and educated and, transformed and all that stuff in order to make a big commitment. Maybe that's true for some people, but I've learned that what actually shapes you into who you need to be is a big commitment that comes into your life and shapes you, molds you into who you need to be to fulfill it. And so my work of ending world hunger, I couldn't even spell hunger when we started that thing called the Hunger Project. But in engaging in, oh my God, what would it mean to me if I could play a role in the historic accomplishment of ending world hunger? I'm going to give my life to that. And I did. I gave my whole life to it. My family, my husband, we all got involved. And what it did was introduce us to the world that we didn't even know was there, the global nature, the diversity, the power and beauty of the spirit of the human spirit that can't be crushed by starvation, by poverty, even by war. And it gave us up close and personal experiences we never would have had, our whole family, without that commitment. So I say that a commitment, living a committed life, what I'm really talking about is playing your heart out. And I think it's particularly relevant to now because, if you don't mind my saying so, it's an all hands on deck time. We're living in an epic period in human history. And I think that's what called you to create MEA. Nobody's done. Really, I'm not retiring, I'm refiring. The world needs our wisdom. The world needs our passion. The world needs our commitment. And so I'm really, this book is really calling on people to step up, step out, step into the big challenges of our time, not sit back and worry about them and lament about them, but get engaged in transforming them. And I think that's what it means to have fulfillment, joy, and live a life of true prosperity. And that's really playing your heart out.
It seems, Lynn, that many people in the United States, this is maybe less true elsewhere, sometimes have performance anxiety when it comes to their purpose. It's like everybody else has one, but where's mine? And one of the things I like to tell people is like, maybe you need to find the verb before you receive the noun, meaning how could you be purposeful? You're being purposeful. What would give you a sense of purpose? What upsets you? What excites you? What is a passion? If you focus on the purposefulness, it may lead you with the breadcrumbs to your purpose. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, I love that. I'm going to use that now. Then
you're welcome to.
I'm going to steal it. Yeah, I often say to people, look and see what breaks your heart and really go deep into that. And look and see what makes your heart sing.
Beautiful.
And go deep into that. And how can those two come together in a powerful purpose? Because what really breaks up our heart, some things make us sad, some things make us discouraged and disappointed, but there's things that just absolutely break your heart. And that's a clue. And then there's things that make us happy and things that give us joy and the things that are wonderful. But then there's things that really make our hearts sing. And that's another big, big clue. And often these two are a perfect match for each other. So it's another way of saying what you just said. And the clues, it's almost like if you ask the universe, ask the source, ask the creator, whatever it is that means to you, give me signs, give me guideposts, allow me to see what's mine to do, what's uniquely mine to do. And I say it's not a big role or a small role, it's your role. And if you play it with all your heart, you can give your life to it. And when you turn your life over to something larger than yourself, and you know this, Chip, because it's the way you've lived your life, all those negative thoughts about, do people like me? And am I wearing the right outfit? And am I thin enough? And do I need, they don't go away because it's part of being human, but they kind of get softer. The commitment is in the foreground. The noise is in the background, and you don't have time to entertain it because you're in action, you're making something happen, and you're in the vortex of what wants to be happening now for human life.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh. I said this to you when we were teaching together in Baja at MEA. You have a one of a kindness. You're one of a kind and you have kindness, and that combination creates a whole new term, one of a kindness.
Oh, thanks. I love
Yes. So, what's interesting to me is that I think there are 4 different I am statements that define us in our adulthood, especially the first half of our adulthood. I am what I do, achievement. I am what I own, status. I am what other people say about me, image. I am what I control, power. And yet, developmental psychologist Erik Erikson says that the most important thing for us to look at in midlife is not any of those I am statements, but I am what survives me.
Wow.
And I am what survives me is the question, is the statements, the mantra that we really need to be considering. And if you can move to that place of I am what survives me, your achievement, your status, your image, your power become a lot less important. Does that make sense to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love that. You might have said that when we were teaching together, but I didn't remember it. So thank you for the reminder. I would say another way of talking about, Gandhi said, my life is my message.
Oh, yes.
I actually think that's another way of saying what you're saying, because
Yes.
I don't think legacy is what you leave. I think legacy is what you live. So another way of saying it is, I am my word. Now that's a strange way to put it, but I am what I'm committed to. I am what I stand for. People relate to me more for what I stand for than my personality or my identity or my family. And I love that, because I have given my life to what I stand for. And when I think about people that have really moved the dial, I mean, like really moved it, like Mahatma Gandhi, like Martin Luther King, like Jane Goodall, they are their word. They are what they've committed their life to. And that's really the legacy they leave, is the life they lived. And it's not so much about their identity. You don't think about Martin Luther King's personality. You think about his words, what he gave his word to. You think about with Mahatma Gandhi, you don't think about, whether he was tall or short or small or thin, or nice. You think about what he gave his life to. So I feel that that's another way of saying what you're saying, and another way of saying what my book is about.
So one of the things we talk about at MEA is success scripts. And I think this is very relevant to Hoffman, the Hoffman process. And so often there's some indelible success or money script or script of how we're supposed to operate in our life that is imposed on us by family or our society or community. And then one of our processes as an adult, and often it really comes to head in midlife, maybe even with a midlife crisis, which at MEA we call a midlife chrysalis, because that's the transformative journey of the butterfly, the middle section of that caterpillar to butterfly journey. But the idea of a success script is something that we have to start to realize that we have been reading. We're like an actor reading from a script, and it's time to write our own script. Tell us a little bit about your script. What was your script growing up, and how has your success script evolved over time?
Well, first of all, I just want to say I use a term called life sentences, which is like the negative ones that are like prisons in your head. Like if someone said to you, you're no good, you'll never make it. And it becomes a life sentence in your head, like the words in your head, but also like a prison that you have to break out of. So life scripts is a much better term. Actually, I want to steal that too. But my life script, I grew up in a musical family. My father was a musician. My mother was a woman who'd had an incredibly, let's say, It was affluent when she was a young child, and then her family lost all their money, but she retained the elegance and the, the kind of status of wealth. And then my father was a musician, and so he was in the big band days, and so they were sort of a society couple, and we were debutantes, my sisters and I. And everybody we had to play the piano, and we had to take tap dancing, we had to take ballet, we had to do all that stuff because my dad was in the arts and my mother was kind of a society character. And then my grandmother, this is one of my life scripts, my grandmother, who was very much to the manner born, you could say she was a grande dame, my mother's mother. She said, she used to say to us, her granddaughters, my two sisters and myself, marry the millions and love will come. And we all laughed like, oh, isn't that, she's silly. But I heard that, I don't know, 1,000 times.
Wow.
And I didn't ever believe it, but that was a life script that she gave to her granddaughters. You marry wealth and you'll be okay. And that's why we had to be debutantes and all that stuff. And I so thought that was so stupid and silly. I didn't take that life script on as far as I know, because I certainly didn't live that way, but I remember thinking that I was supposed to. So I think I'm talking about what you're talking about. And I freed myself from it. I became very much my mother was also an extraordinary, now I would call her an activist. She was a lady to the manner born, who she became a civic leader. She was president of the junior league and president of the hospital and president of the museum. I now see that that's the way you did activism in her day, and you could legitimize being 100% in to make life work by being the head of some, sort of prestigious institution. So she was very committed to diversity. She ran the World Adoption Infant Foundation. And we had a lot of, because my dad was a musician, a lot of intercultural experiences and a lot of people of color in our life. We knew Louis Armstrong, we knew Duke Ellington. We were in kind of a mixture of all that stuff. And I know that I picked up from all of that what was really a fit for me and wrote my own life script. We were also very Catholic, and I didn't really think so much of the church, but I loved the spirituality part of it. And I was a total devotee of Mother Teresa, and then later ended up working directly with her. But I didn't think much of the Pope and the church and all that stuff. So I think that I was freed, and I must do some bowing to the EST training, the old EST training, which was where I really found out I didn't have to do any of that stuff. I could get freed from it. And Hoffman too. Hoffman really freed me from life scripts. And then I would say MEA helped me and other people, and helps thousands of people to write their own life script, really, and especially for the second half of life, or the last third, or, wherever they are when they take MEA. So I really love that term. I really think that we don't really live in our lives. We live in the conversation we have about our lives. That's where we live. We don't live in our marriages. We don't live in our communities. We don't live in the world. We live in the conversation we have about our marriage. We have about our relationship. We have about our community. They have about our world. And that conversation is 100% malleable. We can't maybe change the community. We maybe can't change our marriage all that quickly. I know we can, but we can absolutely, we have absolute omnipotence over the conversation we have about all of this. And that's where narrative and life script and what we learned at Hoffman, all of us, and what I really took away from MEA and your teaching, Chip, is so powerful to know that you have absolute omnipotence over the narrative you have in your own life. And that's really where the power is.
It's interesting. I didn't know your Catholic upbringing, and I now just want to go back to the fact that Father Richard Rohr, maybe the most famous Christian mystic in the world, Catholic father, came as a student at age 78 to your Soul of Money workshop.
I couldn't believe
a year and a half ago. That was wild, huh?
Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. Of course, you were smart enough to give him a teaching spot too, because we were both kind of, oh my God, Richard Rohr's in our class. That's not, there's something about this isn't quite right.
I didn't know you had so that's interesting. You're actually teaching that same workshop, The Soul of Money, after Thanksgiving, later this year. And so we're going to do a wrap up now and then open it up to Drew and Kari to continue the conversation. Talk it to us for a moment about the soul of money. Just what is the soul of money for those who don't know much about it? You'll be teaching about it at MEA, but tell us a little bit about this, because it's sort of legendary now in terms of people's perspective on it.
Well, it's the soul of money is really, money doesn't have a soul, but we do. And the way we interact with money is pretty soulless, even the best of us. And so the Soul of Money book is about transforming our relationship with money. So we see it as a currency, a current that runs through every life, not just yours and mine, that it moves around the planet like water. And just like water, it when it flows, it nourishes, it purifies, it cleanses, it makes things grow. But when it's hoarded or held, it becomes like water, stagnant and toxic to those of us who are holding it. We can't really see life anymore. And so we can't see clearly, let's say. And so the soul of money is really about rethinking your relationship with money, not in the mindset of scarcity, which is the mindset that the economy trains us to think in. And it's actually kind of the mindset of everything really now in our commodified culture. But to think in to know that scarcity as a unconscious, unexamined mindset is a false mindset, and that we really are enough. We are enough. There is enough. It's enough, which is a very different way of living life. And it's about money, but it's also about everything else. So the Soul of Money has become an institute where we work with people of wealth, people that are looking to have wealth, people that can't rub two pennies together, and all kinds of courses and coaching and counseling on people in their relationship with money, which is often one of the most troubled and disturbing relationships in their life, even if they have piles of it. So that's the Soul of Money in a nutshell.
Beautiful. Well, we look forward to having you back on campus in Baja in the fall. And you're also part of our MEA online Living and Working on Purpose online course that starts a week from today. Lynne, thank you. I know how committed you are to Hoffman, and you've become so committed to MEA as well. It is partly because of you that we are here with this community conversation, and as an inaugural one, and we'll be doing these again in the next few months. All of you alums for both programs, you'll hear more about it. And I just wanted to say thank you. I know you have to go to a board meeting, but you're never boring.
Well, let me just say to you, Chip, thank you so much for creating MEA and for understanding that that's really needed now, that all of us who are in these wisdom years, we have so much more to give. And the world needs us so much. And I just want to say to all the Hoffman people and the team here, Hoffman was one of the greatest things I've ever done. MEA is one of the greatest things anybody can ever do. And everybody should sign up, everybody they know for both programs, and the world would work.
Oh, that's nice. Well, who needs a marketing budget when you've got Lynne?
Thank you so much, Chip.
Thank you, Lynne.
Love talking
Love
to
you. Love you. Kari and Drew, you are back on stage.
Yes, we are. Leslie, if you can pop Drew up here. He disappeared. Oh, there you are, Drew. There we are.
Yes.
Thank you both so much. What a gift to have the two of you to bring our communities together. We're really, really grateful for your time and for your insights and the way you play together and the way you open-heartedly share with each other. It's such a role model for us. So we will let you both get off to your busy days.
Can we just do one thing before we go that I'd like to do
Yes.
with mine? Can you do a high five with me? I don't know if you're right next to me, or a low five, so that we see if we can touch, all of us. And
Okay.
everybody watching.
Dancing like an Egyptian.
How fun is that? Everybody can touch. We like to call it sparkles, actually. We just like to give each other sparkles on the screen, which is extra fun.
Okay. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Lynne. Thank you,
Lynne.
Chip.
Thanks.
Appreciate
You
you guys. All right. Oh my goodness, Drew, that was awesome.
Wow, Kari, that was amazing.
It was so amazing.
Such a-
I would love, we have so many, I know as I was peeking on all of the hundreds of you that are on this call, so many of our MEA faculty, our MEA staff, some of our community, I'm sure you're seeing the same with Hoffman. And a lot of folks are asking about what is Hoffman and what are some of the things you do. So I'd love to have you share a little bit of that with us, Drew, and maybe give us a little moment to digest what we just heard.
Yeah. You know, Lynn said there's so many ways to talk about Hoffman. I imagine the same is true for MEA, so many ways to talk about it. But first and foremost, I think it's an immersive experience where you put away your phone, you go to a beautiful retreat site, either in Connecticut or California, and you drop in to who you are. And it's very guided. And so a lot of people, when they come to change, it's like, well, how do I do it? What should I do? Hoffman is a very structured, guided process. And that can be really helpful for students, as we call them in the process, to surrender to the experience of being guided. And I'll leave it at that. But someone else asked, what is this partnership between MEA and Hoffman? And I think really it's very beginning. It's this experience right now is the very first thing we've done. And gratitude to Lynne for connecting the two of us as a faculty member at MEA and as an advisory board member at Hoffman. She has brought us together. So thank you, Lynne.
Yeah, and love this. You know, and we know in the MEA world, the Midlife Wisdom School, we love to think about how do we learn these days as adults. Like we have all this possibility to learn in new ways, and we can give ourselves the time to go to an immersive experience. We can take an online course, but we want to make it immersive and conversational and connective. And we love to give ourselves the time to settle in, to reflect before we really dive in. So Drew, would you be willing to guide us on a little integration exercise that's very Hoffman-esque that some of you in MEA may be the first time to experience?
Yes, sure. Yeah. So for those grads who know and have taken the process, it's called a quadrinity check-in. And for those not, quadrinity is just a Hoffman word that references the four aspects of self: body, emotional self, intellect, and spirit. And so if you'd like, you can settle into a comfortable place, close your eyes, and we're just going to reflect on what happened for us as we listened to Lynne and Chip talk. And so as you do so, just notice when you check in first with your intellect, what were some of the ideas that inspired you? In what ways did your intellect come alive as a result of their conversation? The thoughts, the epiphanies. Just notice how your intellect resonated with the ideas that were shared. And we can bring gratitude for our intellect, for being able to assimilate and absorb all that was shared in that back and forth, fast-paced conversation and the dialogue in the chat box. So you might even say, thank you, intellect. Intellects love to learn. So we're bringing gratitude to our intellect for its desire to continue learning and growing. And then take a breath. Now check in with your emotional self. Your emotional self is the home of your feelings. And we can allow all feelings to come into our heart now, whatever's there. And the nice thing about feelings is that there are no good or bad feelings. It's just where we get stuck in feelings. So what feelings came up for you as a result of this conversation with Chip and Lynne? And in this heart center that is your emotional self, what are you feeling now? And you might even ask your emotional self, like, what does your emotional self need as a result of these feelings? Maybe there's a need there. So just acknowledge this need and the gratitude for all of the feelings that live in this part of you, your emotional self. And then take a breath. And now check in with your body. There is so much cellular wisdom that lives in our bodies. So what's happening in your body after this conversation, in this moment? Just breathe and notice your body, notice your breath. And sometimes this aspect of our being gets ignored or blamed. So let's just bring some love, some gratitude, some appreciation for our bodies, for your body. You can even softly say out loud, thank you, body. Thank you, body. And take a breath. And now check in with your spirit. This is your spiritual self, your core, your essence. This is your authenticity. So just notice what it's like to breathe into the presence of your spirit. Your spiritual self is this wise, unconditionally loving part of you that is always there. And you might even ask your spiritual self, because it's so core to who we are, because it has no patterns or negative parts, it's just the pure, innocent, powerful part of our being. You might even ask your spiritual self for a positive message in this moment. Just listen. And just breathe in this positive message from your spiritual self. You might even bring a smile to your face as you realize that you can receive this wisdom from inside of you. And so take a breath, wiggle your toes, bring your hands together, open your eyes. And so that's a quadrinity check-in, just checking in with all four aspects of self. And the goal is to have them integrated so that we can access whatever part is needed at any particular moment. So Kari, is now a chance to maybe write something. You all have been listening and integrating.
First
What
of
are your
all,
thoughts?
let's give some love for Drew. How great was that? So pop in the chat real quick. How you feeling? How did you like that? That was a really beautiful way to just digest. Some of you know, Jeff and I love to call it digesting. How do we digest things that we're hearing to take it down? So yeah, it was a beautiful way to get us deeply centered, peaceful and calm. Love that. Great. Yes. Thank you, Drew.
Yeah, Kari, I love that you use digesting. I like to say metabolizing.
There
Same
it
thing,
is.
same metaphor. Yeah.
There it is. Yes, metabolizing. Because if you just jump into something else, right, you've missed this moment to metabolize, digest, integrate, take it in. So we're going to give you a chance to write some thoughts now. If you have paper and a pen nearby, or if you like to type, and if you don't, you could just think it in your head. We call it micro journaling. And it's a moment to just capture your thoughts, where you are in this moment, and to literally write them down. Most of us came from an era, that we still write things down all the time. And if we never look at it again, somehow the act of writing it down helps like imprint it even more into our state of being. So it doesn't matter if you never look at it again. Just the process of capturing our thoughts is so helpful. So what I'd like you to do, I'm going to give you a couple of micro journal prompts for you to contemplate. All right. And so the first one is, team, can you grab this for me? Because I'm like screwing up. What is a purpose in your life that is larger than yourself? Or to make it simpler, what is something that you can take a stand for? What do you stand for? So that's the first one. We're going to do a couple. What is a purpose that you align with that is larger than yourself? Or what do you stand for? Take a moment, write it down. You may be surprised that something might be bubbling up so surprising to you. That's great. There's no judgment, whatever that comes up. What do you stand for? Boom, it'll be right there. Nice. You may continue to have thoughts that are cropping up for you. So here's the second one. What is a commitment that you've made in your life that profoundly shaped you? I love when Lynne talked about that. What is a commitment you've made in your life that profoundly shaped you? I love seeing everyone staring off. That's the best place to find these answers. Just, stare off at the ceiling, look down at the ground, look out the window. So we'll leave it with those two reflections. And Drew, we'd love to bring a couple of you. If you'd like to put some of your thoughts down in the chat, please do. And Drew, what do you think? Should we let them have a chat on their own, or should we chat all together?
Yeah. Well, I'm open to either. What's your thinking, Kari?
I'm thinking we do a little chat with each other, a little small group discussion, and then we'll bring it all together. That, some people get shy when they have to go talk to someone, like, oh, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to listen. No, I know, but lean into this. To have a chance to chat with each other on some of the reflections that you've been pulling out of yourself, and to hear the stories from others can be so fun, can be so energizing. So we'd like to put you in a small group for just a few minutes. Drew, what are some of your thoughts about as we get set for this? Oh, Drew just froze. So he froze. So we're going to put you in a small group for about 20 minutes. And there'll be 4 or 5 of you in a group. You'll have a chance to just go around. You'll have a couple of minutes per person. We are Hoffman MEA people. That's what's so cool about this. We understand third vault in our MEA world, sharing like what's on your heart, just getting to the heart of the matter, being real with each other is such a beautiful gift. So each will just have a couple of minutes to maybe share your answer to one of those microjournal prompts with each other. Be mindful. Don't take 20 minutes to gear up and tell your whole story, because that would be not fair to everyone else. You can chat later. And any other thoughts, Drew? You're back with us about how to enjoy this experience.
Yeah, there's a nice, what might be a seeming paradox, but that the personal work of Hoffman really pairs well as a beginning step into purpose, that it can't only be about us learning, reflecting, going inward, that there has to be one leads to the other. And so I do love that the internal work eventually leads to the purpose-driven work.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So we're going to put the prompts back into the chat once you get there. So, and then we're going to do some more chatting on the back end. So enjoy your conversation. We'll put those prompts in your small group, and we'll see you back here in a few minutes. Have fun meeting some new cool people. See you in a few.
Welcome back, everybody. So as we're coming back in and sort of sorting ourselves, buttons pushed and all, write one word about what you feel in the chat box. What do you feel? Inspired or contemplative, connected, energized, love, beautiful, grateful. Wow. Yeah, that's important. This is one aspect of our quadrinity, feelings. So we just want to notice. What are we feeling? Hopeful. Wow, look at this. I'm just amazed by the number of people in this community as all these words come flying across.
It is like a waterfall, isn't it? We like to call it a
Yeah.
chat waterfall. Just these beautiful words that can just flow over us.
Yeah. Also just wanting to acknowledge other feelings as well, like heavy. Somebody wrote heavy in there. It could be scared or overwhelmed. These are also very normal feelings that we want to acknowledge, because feelings are designed to be moved through. And so sometimes there's a narrative there that we can't feel a feeling because otherwise we'll be stuck in a feeling. And that's not true. Feelings are meant to be felt, and then to have another feeling come in as well. So empathy, a bit confused, authentic, discovering, really good. So let's get some voices in the room here. I want to put this prompt in there. I was surprised by. So what surprised you in the conversation with Lynne and Chip, or in the conversations in the breakout room? Let's get your voices here. And we want these shares to be really concise. So it's just one sentence. What surprised you? And let's get your voice in the room. So how do you want to do this, Kari?
Sure, we can. So if you can raise your hands, if you want to come on up with us, I'm going to bring Lydia up. You can put it in the chat. Lydia. You can raise your hand. We have time to take a few. Hello, Lydia. Good to see you.
So unmute yourself, and then what surprised you? One sentence.
I can start. Oh, I don't know how to raise my hand. Sorry.
We have actually, everybody, don't unmute yourself right now. You only when you come up here with us. So we have Lydia up right now with us, and then we'll bring a few more up as you raise your hands, and you can also put in the chat. Lydia, you get to unmute yourself.
Hi. So I did MEA 2019. I did Hoffman 2003. And how fundamentally Hoffman has helped me integrate my life's purpose and experience, if I really give it its credit and due, that 1 week. And then also landing the MEA program I did was on awe with Dr. Keltner, and then also writing with Malik McNeil together. And it was, both of them gave me my life's purpose. And Lynne Twist, I've met her a few times. I used to be a private banker, and I would give her book to my clients and help them find what their money could make happen in the world. So I'm feeling, I guess I'm feeling integrated, which is a nice way to be.
Great. Such a good way to be. That's right, Lydia. Thank you. Oscar, do you want to unmute yourself? Your hand is raised. Come on in.
Hey, Drew. Hey, Kari. I guess, first of all, I was feeling a bit uncomfortable and nervous because I'm the youngest. It seems like I'm the youngest guy in the group. But then during the small group meeting, we were talking about Dale Carnegie. And, I have his book right here. And this kind of made me think about legacy. His legacy is just, because this is a book I keep passing down onto, my younger brother, sister, and it just made me think about legacy, how that has like a ripple effect across time.
Beautiful.
I'm so glad you're here. So, Oscar, guess what? We call MEA the Modern Elder Academy, and often people have a very visceral reaction that's not positive because nobody wants to be an elder. But you are demonstrating the skills of being a modern elder by sharing your wisdom with others, something that's been powerful and impactful to you. You're sharing to your siblings, to your friends. You're a fast tracker, as Tish is saying. And how beautiful it is to let go of an age or a number, but to just be together as curious humans and to feel the incredible energy of connecting with people from different walks of life and ages. So just thrilled to have you here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Oscar. Lisa, why don't you jump in here next, and then Jim.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Drew. Don Hoffman, cannot wait to go to Modern Elders Academy. How cool is it that these organizations are converging? And that is my sentence about how when you have these imaginal cells out there and you connect them, how easy it is to immediately connect, right? Because we all share this common belief in interconnectedness. So I'm just super jazzed by how cool it was to connect so quickly. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks, Lisa. Sometimes I shared at the beginning that sometimes when we have an allegiance to one organization or way of being or methodology, it's so great to see that actually they can be shared. They work together. As Chip talked about, there's a Venn diagram where there's overlap, which can be really powerful. Jim, what were you surprised by?
I'm not sure surprised, but what I appreciated was the different perspectives we all brought to our, conversation in our little breakout group, and yet the common humanity that connects us all. That really resonated with me. The other three women in my group had all been to MEA Baja, and I'm going there next month, and I'm excited about that. So. That's it.
That's
Beautiful.
awesome.
Jim, are you familiar with Hoffman?
Well, I'm a little more familiar now, but I was not previously.
Love it. I'm so excited. That's something that it's really fun it's like kindred spirits. Your best friend meet my other best friend and they all get along. It's really fun. Thanks, Jim. Love having you up here. Zena, come on up. If anybody else wants to raise your hand, we can take a couple more if you want to. Zena.
Thank you. I figured out how to raise my hand. I've been using Zoom for 4 years. Didn't know how. So thanks. I don't know. I was so excited to raise my hand. First off, I had a wonderful group mates that to me I couldn't believe. So context, my name's Zena. I'm Arab American and I just did Hoffman in January and I've just been trying to eat Hoffman in person in Petaluma. Graduated, I guess, in January. And I've just been trying to eat everything Hoffman up, but time's a constraint. And this is the first Hoffman thing that I've done other than connecting with my cohort again. And I had wonderful group mates, both John and David. And I was in awe because one of the things that David had asked is, if I do this online, am I going to connect with people? And in those 20 minutes, I was like, wow, this is powerful. Also, in those 10 minutes, I had asked John, what does MEA stand for? Because I don't know what I just signed up for. And then he was like, Modern Elder Academy. I was like, oh, that's why everyone looks a little older than me. Like, so I want to say, wow, thank you. Everyone that works on themselves and works on Hoffman is inspiration to me. And I love you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Zena.
I love
Wow.
it. Eating all things Hoffman, Drew. What do you say to that? I don't know what to do with that. That's you.
Yeah, it's the power of the process, those experiences that people have that live in their cells that they want more of. Barbara, do you want to jump in here? Unmute yourself.
Sure.
shares.
Hi there. I did Hoffman, I think probably 8 years ago, and MEA for the past few years, and loving both of them. And really, it is such a great, I think the people who know both of them, it's like, yeah, why wouldn't these two partner so great together? I mean, it's all about the third vault, isn't it? It's all about courage and vulnerability and speaking from your heart. And after Hoffman, just to kind of keep things going, I wrote in with my eyebrow pencil on my shower stall, the quad check. And so every morning when I get in, I'm like, okay, remember to do the quad check. And that's a great way of doing it. And so it's just, I love the idea. One of the best things I thought about Hoffman was, and it's similar to MEA, but different, is when you start with your group, you don't know who they are. You don't know anything about them. And their names are their names of when we were children, their nicknames as children. And it wasn't until the last day that you find out who these people are that you have, I mean, talked all in the third vault arena the whole time. And I found out that one of the guys that I really connected with was the lead singer of a cool rock band that my son David like loves. And I came home and I was like, guess who I know? Guess who I know really, really well. And that's really fun to have that intimacy without really caring, needing to know who they are. It doesn't matter. We're all the same. We're all vulnerable human beings doing the best we can with what we available. All of it's so dependent on how we were brought up and what our mother and father did and how they molded us, right? So
That's great, Barbara. The power of an eyebrow pencil. I love it.
Exactly.
That is good.
Thank you, Barbara.
Junior, jump in here.
I'll make mine really brief. I did the Hoffman process in December, and Junior is my childhood name. So all my life I've been searching, that's what I've committed to, searching for who I am. But something happened when Lynne talked about my life is my message earlier. I felt this energy go through my body, and that really surprised me, right? And I'm like, aha, so there's something next. I need to rehone or refine that message. So.
That is so good.
I love that, that aging can be aspirational and the next stage of our life can be aspirational. There's so much more that we can do and learn and lean into. Thank you, Junior. Paula, take us home, my friend.
Hello. Hello from New Mexico. And I just want to say, I love this partnership, because I think as I have personally started to go through some of these midlife transitions, I haven't done Hoffman, I've done MEA online, and may get to that Baja course with Lynne, and I've done, but I did a ton of LifeSpring. I did a ton of staffing and in my life, and it was monumental for me. And now I'm interested in Hoffman. And I know that as I've gone through this midlife transition, there's a lot of times I've run into stuff and thought, what's stopping me from seeing the whole picture or experiencing all this? And I've had to go back to some of my shadow work is what I've called it, but stuff in childhood. And so I think that's why it's a perfect partnership, because I think as we get going with our next purpose in midlife, we're going to run into stuff, right? We're going to run into those life scripts and those life sentences. And I think it's perfect. So I just want to say yay and good job. And I look forward to, sorry.
No, that's great, Paula. I think, Kari, remember Lynne said, step up, step out, step into. I thought that was great. 3,
Yeah.
step up, step out, step into. And Paula, you bring up a great point, is that in that stepping up, if there are places where we're stuck or places that are holding us back, Hoffman is a perfect opportunity to do the work of trying to figure out what's preventing me, what's getting in the way.
Mm.
And that can be a great area of focus as a way of stepping up, out, and into.
Yeah, definitely. And Paula, I can't remember if you were in the purpose or transitions course. Which one was you were in?
I've done both online courses.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, you know, Chip and Lynne spoke about this exercise about a success script.
Yes.
Everyone can think about that. And Lynne spoke about it. She translates to a life script is what was success told to you as a young adult? What was an exercise that you were, you know, what was the message that you were given when you were growing up that stuck with you that you can undo? You know, Chip calls midlife the chrysalis, because it's a time to edit out those scripts that don't work anymore, shift the identities and the roles, and lean in aspirationally to what we can create. So it's such a great blend.
Right.
Danny, I'm going to give you the last word. Hi.
Hi. I just thought I'd chime in here. I just did the process on February 11th. In the small group, I initially I wrote my vow, and I've kind of been just sitting and processing, integrating stuff. And in the small group, I'm hesitant to kind of put that stuff out there because it feels tender and it doesn't feel as strong as it did after the process. So I'm like, do I put that out into the world, and does it make it dissipate, or does it help it to grow? And I was reluctant to say much in the small group because of that, but I felt I realized I was unsatisfied because of it. And so, you know, what I came up with at Hoffman, my vow was that, or actually after, that is just, it's pretty broad, but it's to be authentic and at my best to help other people find their own authenticity. So yeah, maybe I'll start trying to put that out there more. So.
That's beautiful. Thank you for being vulnerable and being real. And because that's what this is about, right? Sometimes we're guns blazing and ready to go, and sometimes we want to pull back and we're not sure. And trusting a community to share is a big thing. It's something that's hard to find. So thank you for sharing that. What an unbelievably fun time, Drew. God, you're such a fun dance partner. This was
Let's
amazing.
do it again.
The chat is blowing up. Like, how do I do the things? Don't worry, we've got you. We're going to send everybody an email. And because this is a private workshop that we just did together, you will be able to see this. All of the Hoffman grads will be able to see this on a private YouTube channel. All the MEA grads will actually get to see this on our portal. Holy cow, the first time we've been able to put something like this into our alumni portal. We're super excited about that. Hoffman has a 2-day online program. Everybody's blowing up my chat asking about that. We'll make sure there's information in there. MEA's program. We're just going to give you all the things, so don't worry. You don't have to like comb back through this chat to find the stuff. I know that sensation. So we've got you covered. You'll get an email from us with some of those resources. And Drew, I'm so grateful for you for just jumping in and playing. You are a master.
Kari, you have introduced me to this whole MEA community, and clearly these are inspired people who you have brought together.
It's pretty cool best friends. I think we've got something fun going on here. So tune in, you guys. We will be continuing these community conversations. We're committing to doing a few of these every other month. We can't yet release who our special guest is going to be for the next one, but Drew and I will be anchoring these and carrying on with giving you an opportunity for deeper reflection and conversation and connection with each other. So as soon as we have that date, we'll let you know. And we're really committed to honoring your time. So we always bring things to a close at the top of the hour. So thank you all so much. Now you can open up your mic if you want to say goodbye to each other and pop it in the gallery view. And we'll see you soon.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Thanks so much.
Thank
you.
Carrie.
See you, everyone.
Love, love,
Everyone.
Lovely weekend.
Bye. So fun.
Thank you.
See you in Santa Fe.
Yeah. See you in Santa Fe.
Santa Fe too.
Yeah, let's do a quad check-in in Santa Fe at the MEA reunion.
Great idea.
Yes.
There we go. Thank you, Drew. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone. We'll have a
Thanks,
wonderful rest of
everybody.
your day.
Bye-bye. Thank
Enjoy
you.
it.